had this dream last night. I can't remember exactly what was going on, but it was kind of like a large gathering of all these different people, and a lot of them were like people that I know in the industry down here. There's also like random people from my life, but it was mostly like people from the industry that I'm like friends with, but like these people don't actually know me, right? Like I'm friends with them. I call them friends. I consider them friends. I think that they would call me a friend, but like we don't actually really know each other, right? Because it's all just business. And it's this really large party gathering, almost like at like a house. It's weird because the part of the dream that I mostly remember is it resembled my childhood home in Burlington, but it wasn't it. And it was a bit different. And in the dream, the feeling was that I was essentially, it was almost like we were at this like house party, right? That is what it felt like. We were at a house party, and all these different people, and we were in a different part of the area at first, and then all of a sudden, like, chaos ensued, broke out. These groups of militia men were coming through and basically like just killing everybody. And they were dressed in like street clothes. Like they were not dressed in any sort of uniform. They were dressed in street clothes, but they were a militia, and they were basically coming in to kill everybody. And it kind of seemed like it was like something like a higher order, you know, for it to happen. And everybody was kind of running around trying to hide and trying to get away, trying to escape, you know. And I remember having fled with several people, like 4 or 5 people. And like in my dream, like I kind of knew these people. They're kind of my friends, but I also like don't really know them fully, right? They just know of me and I just know of them. Maybe we've spent time together, but it was like nobody that I like really know. And enough to like consciously remember them, at least, right, in my subconscious. And we're all running, and we like the 4 or 5 of us or whatever that I like happened to just be around at this time. Like it's kind of every man for himself. And we run into this garage, and there was a car in the garage, and I kind of like ran over into the corner, and I just remember being like, there's no hiding, there's no getting away from this. And I had a backpack with me, and so like these militiamen come in, and they kind of like, they immediately like point the guns or whatever and like go to shoot like this one person. The other of us are kind of crowded, and I kind of like see them, so I like step towards them, like I step forward, like I'm gonna die anyways, sort of deal. But they see that I have this bag, and so the one dude, like, he had like a handkerchief over his face and like this black t-shirt on and a coat on. You couldn't see his face. He had a hat, sunglasses, and a giant rifle. And I had this backpack, and he like grabbed the backpack and he like opened it, and it was this like mint green backpack with like rainbows on it or something. Like it was like a cheap child's backpack. And it was brand new, but it wasn't brand new. And that he even asked, he's like, oh, you got a new bag? And I remember having this sense of like not wanting him to be under the impression that I had any money, because I didn't. But like, because I was at this party, it might seem that I did have money. And that was like the issue, kind of like they were like killing the rich, right? And I remember just being like he was like, oh, I see you've got a new bag. And I was like, well, it's not actually new. This is just the first time I've used it, but I've had it sitting in a closet for years. and he kind of like gave me a look, and then he like, well, he had sunglasses on, I couldn't see his face, but he kind of like looked up and looked at me, and then he looked back down. His voice was muffled. He looked back down and was looking, and it was filled with artwork that I'd done, and it was all like pornographic and like goofy. It was like it was like my artwork. It wasn't anything I recognized actually as like something I've actually done, but it was obviously my artwork. It was goofy stuff, and a lot of it was pornographic. And like when he looked at that and when he saw that it was pornographic and like comedy based, he was like, he like closed the backpack or whatever. He kind of just like threw it back in or whatever and like closed the backpack, and he like kind of shoved the backpack back at me, and he was like, get the fuck out of here, however he put it. And I remember just being like, holy shit. And I described it, and I just left. And at that point, like, I kept the bag like up like this, and I remember running. And then I woke up at some point, and I kind of like had a weird morning, but that really stuck with me. And I don't really know what it means. And I remember this feeling too of like feeling the people behind me when they saw that he let me leave because of this bag, having the sense of jealousy, like, the fuck's she gonna get out of here? But like I also had this impression like that they probably weren't going to be able to leave, that he was just gonna go shoot them. And I didn't know why he didn't shoot me. Like, they were literally just shooting everybody. Like, they weren't asking questions or anything like that. And I don't know if it's just because I approached him and had my bag in front of me. He mentioned the bag, like the fact that the bag looked brand new, but it was obviously like a child's bag, and I don't know why me. And like the fact, and I remember like thinking to myself, like, my porn, like, it's porn. Like, how is it that like my cartoon porns are the thing that saved me? Weird. It's a weird dream. I've been in a really weird energy. I've been contemplating, like, I keep being told in my meditations to not talk on certain things, but then in my spirit I'm being called to talk about these things. And so I'm like, am I supposed to be just like saving these videos maybe and premiering them like some in the future? Like, maybe I need to privatize some of them and wait to post them. I did notice that like there's a couple of them that it looked like were getting views. And like, I don't even remember necessarily like the full context of what's in each one necessarily. I do read away when I first post it and like make its title and everything like that. But what I was told was that like I have to stay a step ahead by being quiet. And that's why I'm feeling blocked, is because like these people have an advantage because I'm basically like talking about my steps, but I'm not. Like, that's the whole thing. Like, I'm not. Like, I guess I did just post that video about my friend who was trying to entrap me, and I kind of did this like clone tactic, like, which is what I do. So I guess I am giving away my secrets. But I'm not afraid of that. And it's almost like I'm doing this, like, I know I'm doing it defiantly, but like that's part of like the point, is because this isn't even about me. Like, what these people are going to realize is that like you can come against me and my power and who I am as a person and all of these things, but like, no, you can't, because who I am underneath all of this and underneath like the identity and concepts of who I could possibly ever be is the entire universe. It's the power of God moving through me. It's not even my power, and I'm not scared at all of any other power coming into any sort of like trying to come up against my higher power. Like, it's my highest power is going to prove any other power for what it is, which is not the highest power. My highest power isn't, it's my highest power, yes, and I'm in my highest power. That's the point of knowing yourself, right? And I know myself so that I can be in my highest power as much as possible. But my highest power is the highest power. everybody's highest power, the ultimate highest power. And that's what I'm not always in it, obviously. But that's what I'm not afraid of, like, as long as I'm like working to be in that, like, that's the thing that covers me. So like, it's this weird conflict of like, but I also am like definitely recognizing that there's this energy that's like really trying to disillusion me, and trying to convince me to like join it, to submit to it, and like it's not the power for me. And I got close because I felt like I was supposed to, and it was more to learn what exactly it is that I'm dealing with. And I still have these people questioning me, like, how could you not, sorry, I'm about to sneeze. Thank you. I have these people questioning me, like, how could you not go through with this? You can't just learn all of these things and not go through with it. And it's like, well, obviously I can, because I did. And they don't like that. And I'm not trying to be arrogant. And I woke up this morning too thinking about how arrogant I'd been in the last couple videos. And it's like, I'm not trying to be arrogant. I am confident, and I struggle. I've never been known to be the most confident person. And so like as I'm coming into that, and because I'm still new to it, I don't exactly know how to process it properly. And so it's being processed through my ego still. And so it comes across as arrogant. I'm trying to release that. And I ask my highest power to help me release that, so that when I'm doing these things, I'm not doing it in arrogance. Obviously, the arrogance is a big block for me, and it's not helpful, and it's not helping anything. I do want to give all the credit to my highest power, and to, I mean, it's not even within my own capacity to work with my highest power. That's the highest power working through me. I'm just a tool. Like a tool, like I'm a dipshit dude, arrogant asshole, right? A tool, like that's me innately. But I do have this capacity for humility that the highest power can work through, and it comes through this process of knowing myself, so that I can release myself to my highest power. So there's nothing that, it's not like it's something I can take pride in. And so when I act arrogant, like it comes across that way, like I'm all like feeling some type of way about myself, like I'm like better than anybody. That is not the case. And that's why I keep saying it too, like I'm like literally the bare minimum for everything. I'm not trying to be, I'm trying to be at my highest level, but my best is literally like basic, like the basic. Where everybody else is in hell, they're 6 feet deep, right? So like me standing on the actual ground looks like I'm so much higher, but I'm not. There's an entire reality above me. I'm at the lowest plane. It's just not the lowest plane dimensionally, because you can be in hell, and I've worked so much to get out of hell, and it was a process to get to this point. So like I can speak on those things, and if I'm trying to talk to the people that are still in hell, like, yes, I'm looking down at you, but I'm not looking down at you so that it can be like, look at me all the way up here. In fact, I'm crouching low and reaching down and trying to help you come up. That's what all of this is. But I'm aware that the arrogance doesn't come across that way. The arrogance is a confidence in my highest power, in the thing that pulled me out. It's like, look, I'm right here. Like, I'm actually on this ground. Like, this really does exist. But I know it doesn't come across that way to people that aren't already here. The people that are above me, like, they're not seeing it as arrogance. They're recognizing what it is. And there's energies here on this level, in this reality, that like just because they're out of hell doesn't mean that they're like great energies. And they're still working. In fact, they're working to pull people into hell, to get the people that are here down into the pit, you know. And I'm also trying to work not just to help people down there realize that they can come up, but to keep other people from falling in, you know. And again, I'm not great at it. I fucking make porn. Like, now with partners, that doesn't make it better. For some reason in this society, it seems to. But like, I draw porn and shit too. Like, I have the worst sense of humor. Like, my art is very inappropriate. My comedy is very inappropriate. Like, I very much believe in entertainment and care about it. You don't have any of that in hell. You don't get to enjoy that and experience that in hell. You have to be able to level up to actually be able to genuinely appreciate it. But there are people that are going to hell in a handbasket that are laughing the whole way because they don't realize that they're descending. So like, there's this point of like not supporting that and not catering to that and not making way for that, but still being able to be in you know, that higher humor energy. Being able to have a sense of humor is coming from a place on high. But that humor is more like not letting things get to you, recognizing the irony in all things, being displaced from yourself almost, not because you don't know yourself, but because you know yourself, and then being able to look at yourself in the mirror and laugh, you know. But laughing at others as they descend into hell, or as they're burning in hell, or as they, you know, are struggling to try to get up and keep failing and flailing, like, that's not real comedy. That's not real humor. That's a deflection of self at best. And I'm given to that to many degrees, and that's something I'm constantly working on. And, you know, I know my arrogance comes across that way as well. And so it's hard for me. Like, I can't be arrogant because then I'm sitting here trying to teach these higher notions of things. And if it's coming through an arrogant bitch, nobody's going to be able to understand what that really is, or why, what would be the point of it. What, so that I can be better than everybody else? I'm not better than anybody else. But I'm also not trying to be so insecure and then be arrogant in that way in order to make up for my insecurities, because then people are just, it doesn't make, it's not a good scent for people to be like, oh yeah, I want to eat that. Like, it smells like shit. Doesn't matter how good it actually is, you're not doing it right. And so it's not giving people that appeal. And it's not that you need to make things appealing for people either. Obviously, I struggle with that because people want to be appeased and want things to be appealing, and I just don't give a fuck. But at the same time, like, that also then comes across as arrogant because I'm not giving a fuck about the thing I'm directly trying to feed to people. So it's a balance. It's a balance, and that's what I'm constantly working on. And so I'm trying to embrace when I have these energies and these lows and these blockages and these feelings that, like, it just feels sticky. It feels sticky. It feels like mucky and muddy and like somebody's pulling a cloak over my head half the time. And it's like, I can trust my intuition enough to close my eyes and see through those things. I don't need my eyes to see. I don't need my ears to hear. I don't need my mouth to speak. I can trust beyond those things. Maybe that's part of it. I don't need my mouth to speak. I need to shut the fuck up sometimes. I do. And, like, being able to talk aloud, like, does certain things for me because I was forced to not share my truth and to not share my opinion for so long. And I realized that that was a way that people were getting away with murder. So as an adult, I take a responsibility to it, where it's like, it's almost better for me to look like an idiot saying something than it is for me to not say something and have people getting away with whatever it is that they're trying to get away with at any given time, right? But again, this is the message I'm getting right now is to not be arrogant, because it tends to block everything. My arrogance is the block, truly. It's the same reason why I struggle with stand-up. I've done stand-up a few times, but I'm never fully comfortable with my own presence on stage. It's wildly uncomfortable to have everybody looking at you, everybody judging on you, everybody waiting on the words that you're saying. Nobody else is talking. Like, they're all just listening to you. Hopefully nobody else is talking. That becomes its own thing. But, like, everybody's just listening to you, and, like, you're expected to make them laugh. It's not just me being able to talk. It's like I have to talk in a very specific way and have this very specific energy. And it is very intimidating. And I've found that in my immaturity and insecurity, the way that I tend to cope with that is to be arrogant. And some people think it's funny, and some people like that, but it also just tends to rub a lot of people the wrong way, and it rubs me the wrong way. I don't like it either. So, like, you know, these are things that I'm trying to work on, and I'm trying to push through, and I'm trying to be humble enough to be like, oh, I get so close, and then these blockages come up. It's not just arrogance, it is all insecurity, though, right? Because arrogance is just a mask for insecurity. And it is all insecurity. It's fears and trepidations and, you know, logical resolutions from past experiences that just aren't serving me. You know, I got PTSD. I got it pretty bad even. I manage it fairly well, but I got CPTSD. I got a lot of triggers, and especially like not interpersonally, but like socially, personally, like with other relationships, with relationships outside of myself. I can keep myself just fine. The second other people start getting involved, it starts getting a little triggery. But it's a trickery, right? Like it's an illusion. It's nobody else is in control of me. I'm in control of me. And when those triggers hit, like, it's important for me just to like slow it down and be like, okay, I'm okay. I got this. Nothing's actually happening. Nobody else is in control of me. Like, I'm constantly having to remind myself of all of these things. And I've gotten better about managing it to some degree by just like cutting it off, setting boundaries, blocking it, being like, you're not going to trigger me. But I'm at a different level now. I require something different than just that. That is a step in the process of learning. That's something I can still continue to apply, but there's something else that I'm being told to learn now, in order to I'm not supposed to be in constant protection mode any longer. I'm supposed to be able to have a strong defense, but also have a strong offense. And then in balancing that out, because I've even been working on that, to balance that out is to be able to just enjoy the back and forth to begin with, to enjoy the experience, you know, kind of like sparring. Like, the point of sparring is so that you can gain your skill, so that you can express your skill, so that you can have a place to work on it, and so that you can, like, you know, brush up on it in these different ways. And it's kind of this back and forth where you're having to build on your defense and your offense. But when you're sparring with someone, it's also like, it's fun, right? Like, and that's almost part of it, is that you're supposed to be able to let go and like embrace it and then actually enjoy it, so that you can like really get into yourself, you know? So like me getting on stage and talking, but being like terrified of it and not enjoying it and forcing through it and just telling all these jokes a certain way or whatever, like, that's not fun for anybody. It's not fun for everybody. But like the last time I went out, was the first time I've been out in such a long time, in months and months and months, and it was just nice to get out. And so I'm like laughing, and I'm like even trying to like cover my laugh a bit, because I've got a loud, very distinctive laugh, and I could tell that like the guy right in front of me, sitting right in front of me, was like irritated by my laugh. I could see him doing that when I was laughing, and I was like, sorry bud, like I'm not trying to, but like things would really make me laugh. It was nice just to be able to laugh freely. So I felt bad for the guy in front of me, right? But then as soon as the show was over, these two guys that were sitting next to me came over to me and started talking to me, and they were like, can I just say that your laugh is incredible? Like, it's amazing. Like, I love your laugh, and I love hearing you laugh. They were like, it was honestly so much fun for us to just hear you enjoying yourself. It made the comedy better because, you know, there were some things that we wouldn't have been laughed at, but the fact that you were laughing at it made it funny. And I've been told that many times. I used to be let into the clubs for that purpose. They'd be like, yeah, you get people laughing. You are welcome here. That's what this is all about, you know. Also, we can tell that you're a broke bitch. You're also an aspiring comedian yourself. You know, you're nice to everybody. You don't start no shit. So as long as you're not creating problems, you're good to look at. We'll let you in, right? Lots of benefits coming there from being insane but attractive to people. But that's part of it. And like trying to embrace all of those things is very difficult for me. To not be insecure about my laugh, to realize that a lot of people actually enjoy it, to not be insecure about my appearance, to not be insecure with people looking at me, to embrace that some people actually enjoy it. It's a lot. It's a lot. But like, I'm 35 now. I'm a grown adult. I can handle this. I can handle this. And I'm getting there. But like, yeah, this arrogance tends to be a blockage. Also, like, just a fear of people in general. Like, because of the PTSD too, like, I get invited out and I'm like, well, I just can't afford to get out right now. And people are like, that's fine, I'll pay for you, I'll come pick you up. And it's like, right, and then you're gonna expect me to fuck you, and when I don't want to, it's gonna become a problem. That's like my worst fear. And I don't like to let it run my life. And like, I'm learning too that like, generally speaking, like these people are professionals and like they have large followings, and like with everything that's going on in the public and stuff, like they're probably not gonna risk everything that they've been working all this time for and the thousands of followers and stuff that they have, or even hundreds of thousands of followers, they're not gonna risk that just to rape me, you know? But it's not just that either, because like, you know, if I go out with them and then don't put out and stuff, like I experienced that when I first got into the industry. I was seeing this guy who, you know, everything was going great. I didn't have a problem with him being with other people. He kind of had a problem with me being with other people. But he acted like he didn't, because how could he? Because he was with a different woman every night. But we still had our thing, you know, our connection or whatever that we were building on. And I started working with him and like to you know, together to make stuff with him or for him. And when I stopped, like, I felt disrespected by him, so I started pulling away. And he felt disrespected by that because I'm fucking famous and have all this money and have all this influence. So, like, you're a nobody. How could you do that to me? And then pretty much, like, blackballed me and got it to the point where, it was just hard to get my name out there for a minute. And it was like, that's like, I'd worked so hard just to get to where I was. And at that point, like, I was still homeless and I was still just like doing everything I could to get into the clubs and stuff like that. Like I said, they would let me into the clubs, but like I was having to put myself out there in order to get there. Like, I was living out of my car. Like, I'm having to like clean myself up in the fucking Walmart and then like dress up really nice to look like I'm not fucking homeless and then going to the clubs. Like, nobody knew I was living out of my car except the people I was close to at that time, right? And so I'm like having to play this game that like energetically was like a lot. It's very weird. And he kind of was just trying to like fuck with me the whole time. And like he swore that like, then he started getting bad karma for it. So like he started treating me like I was like some sort of dark witch, like fucking everything up for him because I was feeling some type of way. Where it's like, I tell people right off the bat, they're just fucking morons, especially these dudes that think every woman is a witch, especially if they find her attractive. Where it's like, bro, you're just gay. Just embrace that you're gay. If you think that because you're attracted to a woman, she must be doing witchcraft on you, you're admitting that you're gay. Okay? It's fine. I get it. I'm a dude in a woman's body. So, like, it's okay to be attracted to me. But you are gay. And it's okay to be gay. That's not even like a bad thing. It doesn't make you any less of a man. In my opinion, it makes you more of a man. I don't have a problem with men liking men. I like men too. It's just more things we have in common, right? So it's weird men out here and like they'll like fuck me over, or they'll like disrespect me, or they'll use me or exploit me. Then they'll get karma for it because I'm not a fucking bad person. I'm not doing anything bad. In fact, I was giving myself to you openly and vulnerably, and like I was giving you my best and you were giving me absolute shit. And so the universe is like, not to my daughter, not to my own, you know? And then you start getting your karma so that you can learn to not be a piece of fuck. And suddenly I must be doing black magic. Because the more then that you try to fuck with me, the more it comes at you. And you're like, she's doing this. Where it's like, I'm fucking sitting around my house like, yeah, I get this. I'm putting it on camera so that you can see exactly what I'm doing and not take it so personally. I'm sitting around fucking like acting like a doofus all the time. Drawing porn and shit. Like, I'm not even thinking about you most of the time, to be honest. And I know that really hurts your ego and that really hurts your feelings. I'm not sorry. You weren't thinking about me when I was actively right in fucking front of you. All you were seeing was this. This ain't me, baby. This is the thing I use to exist. I'm a tool. Just a tool, but I exist far beyond that. And you do too. And that's what I'm here to show you. I'm also just a mirror. I'm a figment of your imagination so that you can know yourself. Dudes don't like that. They don't like looking in mirrors. It's gay. Yeah, because you're gay. It's okay. It's okay. It's totally okay. And honestly, I feel like if you would just come out and embrace that, the world would be a better place. Everybody needs to come out of the closet so that we can clean out the fucking closet. All the skeletons in there are the dudes that you've been fucking in secret. Like, let all of it out. Bring it all out of there. Come out of there. Come on. Come on. It's okay. Come on. Come out of the closet, and then we can clean out the closet, and then the house will be clean. It's like the one thing we've got left to clean, right? We wonder why everything feels like it's in such disarray. It's because we have all these things that belong in the closet that aren't able to fit in the closet because it's filled with skeletons that we refuse to bring out because it makes us look some type of way. We've all fucking killed somebody, okay? Maybe not with our active hands, maybe not with our active poisonings, maybe not with our active, like, running people over, maybe not with our active, like, things like that, maybe not with our active fucking dark witchcraft. But we're still responsible for bad things. Still responsible for bad things. Like, my friend made me feel like I was the reason that he had to die. I've literally had abortions. You know, I remember my stepdad one time telling me, he used to tell me that he was in the CIA and that we were his fake family and that if I told anybody, he would kill me. Back when I was like 3 to 5, when I was very young. He thought it was funny because I believed him. I had no reason not to. I didn't know anything about anything. I still believe it, to be honest. So he would tell me those things and he thought that it was funny. And I remember asking him when I got a little older if he had ever killed anybody. I was like 8, maybe 8 to 10. And I asked him if he had ever killed anybody. Because he was in the military. And he would talk about having been over like in Korea and stuff like that. And so I was like trying to figure out like with the wars and stuff. I was like, what was he in Vietnam? I didn't understand that Korea and Vietnam were not the same thing. But I think it was during the Vietnam War that he happened to be in Korea. So I was not totally dumb. I just wasn't sure. But I was asking him if he had ever killed anybody. And he was like, I have only ever killed one man. Just like, he's talking about my dad. My real dad. My real dad. And he was like, he said he had only killed one man. And then he like thought about it. And he's like, well, actually it wasn't. He thought It happened in two parts because he told me that he had only killed one man and that he couldn't talk about it because then he'd have to kill me, right? And I remember him telling me that when we were at Tenuda's. We were going to pick up a pizza from Tenuda's because I remember being in the car and being like right where like there's like a little, you know, those fucking concrete humps that are in the road to make you drive very slow. There was one that was actually like almost right in front of Tenuda's, and we were like right over that, and like then you would park in order to run in and get the pizza, right? I don't know why that's what we were talking about then, but then later on I had asked him about it again, and I was like, because I like thought about it, and first I was like, oh well, yeah, he's probably just talking about in the military, you know, like he shot and killed a person in war, is what I was thinking. But then I remember thinking about it later and being like, yeah, but he only killed one guy, and like, was he talking about that? So like I brought it up again to him. Now I remember that we were sitting in the dining room. He was sitting, I was standing. He was sitting at the head of the table in the dining room was in the kitchen. They were in the same room at this time. This was back when I was like 8. He built the house differently later on and expanded it and put the dining room separate from the kitchen. But at this time, the kitchen table was in the kitchen, and he was sitting at the head of it. And I was like, what, so, like, who was the man that you killed? And he was like, well, and he, like, thought about it. I remember that being, like, a weird thing, because, like, I could tell that he wanted to tell me, but then he was, like, really thinking about it, and then he, like, didn't know what to say for a minute, and I remember it being, like, kind of weird, and there was this long pause, and I was a kid, you know, I don't know shit. He was like, well, it wasn't actually a man. And I was like, it was a woman? And he was like, no, it was a baby. He said, I convinced my ex-wife to get an abortion, and that's why we ended up getting divorced. And we talked about it. He talked about the divorce. He talked about his marriage and stuff like that. You know, he had always loved his ex-wife, but she had left him after that because she thought he was fucking selfish. She got married and wanted a kid, and he forced her to have an abortion, and she just never got over it. His ex-wife was beautiful, tall, very muscular. She was also in the army. Long dark hair. You know, and like kind of like a pretty straight-laced type of woman. But yeah, he would talk about her to me. And so I remember being like, oh. But then, like, later on, like, and even, like, last year, I remember talking to my client about it and, like, telling the story in a funny way. And then I was like, he did say that he killed a man, though. That isn't a man. That was a baby. And, like, he didn't even know what the gender of the baby was back then. You didn't know that shit. Could have been a girl. You don't know that it was going to grow into a man. And why would you say a man? And, like, because he was just trying to be funny. He was trying to play that CIA role and stuff like that. And then I remember my client being like, he almost admitted that he killed your dad. And I was like, I guess he kind of did, didn't he? Well, that was weird that she threw that one out there. I mean, she knew that my real dad was dead, but I don't know where all this is coming from. I've had so many things going on in my head the last few days, and I've been like just feeling these blockages, and I've been trying to not. I've been trying to cleanse myself and purify myself, but I also have been really struggling because of these blockages, this weird lack of motivation, and like it was already moving in that direction. It was already moving in that direction, but then I had I had a dream with my stepdad in it. And I was levitating around, and I was doing it better than I've ever done it, and I was really in control of it, and he was, like, pissed about it. He's like, you're not really doing it. And I was like, yeah, watch. And then I went and did it over the pool, and I almost fell into the pool, and I remember him, like, almost, like, getting excited because he thought I was going to fall into the pool, and that way he could make fun of me and be like, see, you're not even that good at it. Who cares that you're levitating? You're not that good at it. But I caught myself, and I floated up onto this table. And I remember, like, turning and looking at him, and I was all, like, proud of myself because I didn't fall. And I knew that he was, like, waiting on my downfall. And I didn't fall. And then I look over at him, and he's just, like Like, he was not happy. He was not happy. And then I remember noticing that I was in Whitewater, Wisconsin, and that there was 3 different water towers. And I was like, why does Whitewater need so many water towers? And then I was like, oh yeah. And in my head, like, I had this realization that, oh right, like, they're run by the Freemasons, and the Freemasons are using it as a, like a bunker area. Like, they have bunkers there underground. I don't know this to be true. This was just in my dream. But that they were using it as an, I know that it's owned, that the city is owned, a lot of cities in Wisconsin are owned by the Freemasons. I know that it's owned by the Freemasons, but that was like a specific area where they like had all these underground tunnels and stuff like that, and they were like preparing for the apocalypse or Armageddon. I was like, oh, very clever of you, Whitewater. I'm on to you. I see these water towers. So that was weird. Weird, random. I have like the most random weird dreams. I don't know. When I decided I wanted to do this, first I started having this feeling of like, am I saying too much? Am I supposed to stop doing this? But it's like, no, I was called to do this, and this feels like it's right, and like maybe I need to wait to post some things. But I'm supposed to be doing this. That much I feel sure of. So I don't know. But then when I started getting into it, like just before I started this video, and before I started talking about all this shit, I wanted to ask a very specific question and then get a very specific answer, which is not something I normally do. I normally kind of just let the cards speak for themselves, and I read whatever they're saying, and I just talk on those things. This time I wanted to ask a specific question and get a specific answer. I decided to use the oracle cards for that. Okay, so as I'm saying this, and before, I already have 2 cards that fell out. I'm going to put them face down until I'm ready to look at them. And like in my head, like it was like I was like thinking of asking, like, what does a specific person think of me? What do they feel of me? What is the situation going on with that? But I don't know if I actually care about that. Okay, so now I'm going to ask about something else, but I can't say it out loud. But you can still watch the reading. I want to know what's up with these people. To be vague at the very least. What's up with these people? Oh, I gotta be more specific. I'm only taking cards that are face up. Okay. This one came on its side. These 2 came face up. Concerns on its side. Okay, this is where the arrogance comes in, right? Like I had already mentioned it. Like, I have these people that are like, how could you go through all of this and then not complete it? And like I just said in another video, like I will literally sit and watch an entire fucking movie and then the last 5 minutes of it be like, this is dumb. I don't care if in the last 5 minutes everything changes and it becomes something totally different. There's some movies that like I will literally shut off and I don't give a fuck and I will never look back at them. And I guess unless somebody were to tell me like, no, you really should go through and finish that because it changes. Everything changes. Maybe then I would be tempted. But the reason I didn't follow through, to be honest, the reason I didn't follow through with this specific thing was not even because I wasn't intending to. I wasn't trying to play some game. I'm not playing some game. I felt directed and called to move forward with them. And then it hit a point where I suddenly felt like I was being told to stop. That whatever I had gained at that time was what I needed to gain. That what was gained, and them from me too, and that I wasn't supposed to move forward. And as soon as I started to get that feeling, and now like maybe it was a manifestation of that, I don't know, but as soon as I started to get that feeling, then all of a sudden like everything got blocked. Everything got blocked. To the point where I couldn't follow through because I needed to make an investment and I didn't have the proper resources. And I explained this, and they were like, well, we'll work on the resources with you. Just keep going. Don't stop this. You can't just start and stop. And I was like, I don't know what else to tell you. Unless you're going to do it for me, but then that defeats the purpose, and I'm aware of that. So, like, I feel like I'm at a standstill. And, like, it literally felt like my spirit team, like, had stepped in and were like, no. You don't understand. You don't fully know. There's a reason that this is being blocked. We're blocking it. We got what we needed out of this. We moved you in this direction. We needed to know that you were willing to move in this direction. What I had gained from even being willing to move in that direction was a whole new concept of reality. That was what was trying to be taught to me. But as soon as I had gained access to that, they were like, okay, that's it. Get out. This isn't it. So it's kind of like one of those things where, like, you have somebody that's claimed to be a friend, right? And, like, you've always, like, gotten this weird vibe from them because, like, you've watched the way that they interact with others. And, like, you know that they're capable of doing some not good shit. But you also, like, you consider them a friend still, or you have some sort of relationship to them still because you guys share some ideals. And, you know, they're a good worker, and they're well known in the community, and what they do within those things when it comes to that is good, right? So, like, as far as the surface is concerned, you have respect for them. And then, like, even on these certain different personal levels, you have respect for them because you guys share the same ideals in different ways. But there's just, like, maybe it's just the way that they treat women even, which seems so futile because it's like, if they're your bro, it's not like you're trying to be with them, so you don't really care how they treat women, right? Because it doesn't affect you. But, like, you still have this feeling about them. But it's like, whatever. It doesn't seem like that big of a thing. And so then you start hanging out with them. And you start, like, kind of becoming part of this group with them, right? To the point where, like, people could recognize you when you're out as being affiliated with this person. And then that person crosses a boundary of control where, like, you don't necessarily see them assault a woman. Nobody's claiming that they've been raped by this person, but you see them acting in a certain way, you know, where it's like, I just don't think this is going to be good for me. And the second that you feel that way, then all of a sudden these accusations start to come out about them, or all of a sudden you do hear this girl talking about this thing, or you do hear, like, the bartender being like, oh yeah, I don't trust that guy. I don't ever let that guy, like, around women, whatever sort of things. Like, you start hearing these different types of things or feeling these types of ways. And, you know, then, like, the day that you're supposed to go hang out with them, your car breaks down and suddenly you can't go out with them. And that becomes the sign, like, okay, I don't think I'm supposed to be affiliated with this person at all, right? So it was that kind of thing. It had nothing to do with anything outside. Like, I was totally fine up until I wasn't. Because I don't have an issue with any of these other things. I really don't. Like, I ain't a perfect person either, you know, when it comes to shit. So, like, or, like, even on, like, let's say that, like, this dude is, like, one of your friends because, like, you're both given to certain perversions, right? Maybe you're okay with treating women a certain way, but then you see that he's actually, like, also okay with treating underage girls that way. And you're like, okay, buddy, that's a line. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like that sort of energy. it has nothing to do with that. That was just the energy that came to mind. But so it was like, technically no fault of my own. And it was something I felt very comfortable not engaging in, just as much as I actually had to build myself up to a comfort to engage in it. But there was these different aspects that made it seem like it was beneficial. And like, if that guy's real popular and real famous, like getting in with him means that you can gain all of this influence, and, maybe you could use that for good, even if he's not. But like, ultimately you have to be able to trust yourself that like, I'm not going to engage with that because it just ain't what's right for me, right? But in not engaging, suddenly now, like, let's say like you started feeling all these ways and these accusations start to come out, but nothing happens with it. It doesn't become a big thing. Like, this guy isn't like, on the front page news for assaulting people or anything like that. It was just kind of, the pot got stirred a bit, and some stuff came out, and, now even like it seemingly settled down a bit, but now he's like hitting you up all the time. Like, okay, well, come on, bro. Like, let's hang out again. Let's do the thing again. Let's keep moving forward. We were just friends. We were going to work together. Like, why aren't you trying to work with me anymore? And so this concerns, because it's in the left hand. There's a knife directly into the left hand. And so it's like this concern about what it is that you received, but it's also like you yourself, like, have received concern, something harmful, right? I guess actually this is the right hand. I'm retarded. What's the left hand? I don't know why I have such a hard time with this. With my left and right. That's pretty telling, isn't it? I used to know a Satanist that practiced the left-hand path. He taught me about it. And I remember being like, okay, so that's good. And it's good to learn that, for sure, because we just innately practice the right hand. But like, and because I grew up Christian, right? But I was like, but also, isn't it best to use both of your hands, if possible? Like, don't tie one of your hands behind your back just to prove a point. We're trying to work here. You need both them hands, buddy. Like, he didn't like that. He didn't like me trying to put them both together. And yeah, I would say that most of these people don't like when you do that, because we are ritualized for a reason. We have these things this way for a reason. And it's like, right, yeah, I know. I grew up Christian. I know what those reasons are. I know why you do things the way you do them. I'm trying to push beyond that. I don't like that. Okay, so this card is in the middle, right? And it's on its side. And so what I'm getting is that these cards are, this is the hand that this other hand is attached to, and this is where it's coming from. Okay, so the hand that it's attached to, and if you can see, so this is the left hand. Is this the right hand? No, that's also the left hand. It don't matter, it's the same hand. Head, rationality. These cards are really beautiful. So we've got the head, rationality. And it's a cut open skull with flowers coming out of it. Okay, right, like I said, like, there's already a definitive way of things that's supposed to be happening, and I'm not doing it that way. And that's concerning people. It's also concerning me, but when I say it like that, like, it's not, I'm not bothered. It's concerning me. Like, it's referring to me. It's in reference to me. It's something I'm doing. Concerns. It concerns me. But like, this knife is coming from this person. Where like, you'd think that being stabbed in the hand, like, I'd be concerned. I'm well aware I'm being stabbed in the hand. That's what I'm talking about, blockages in the first place, right? Like I'm aware. I'm just not concerned about it. What do I say? I'm maybe worried but not concerned. Because I forget how I say it in the song. Like I'm worried but I'm not disturbed or something. Or I'm worried but I'm not concerned. I have disturbed and concerned as the things where like I feel ways. I'm receiving my active experience, but I'm not letting it get to me. I'm not letting it control me. I'm not letting it stop me. I'm not letting it be something that I'm like focused on because I care, but I don't control. There are two sides to every two sides that there are to every two-sided story, and we all receive both things both ways. This is why I'm not allowed to. The universe will literally block me from giving in and selling myself to any one direct path. I can even try to. I can even put myself into those positions. I can feel led to do those things. But as soon as it comes down to getting into the concept of things being one definitive way, it will not make that allowance. Because we both receive both things both ways. We are always not just our reflections, but we are the person being reflected. You know, we're not our reflections. Both things are receiving both things both ways. Okay, so it's coming from, the concerns are coming from Earth. Such a beautiful card. Okay, and so in this, like, that's more what I'm saying too. Like, it's like this groundedness, this definitiveness. There's a butterfly flying over the flowers. There's 3 flowers, which is giving me 3 cups energy. So it's like, this is a sense of camaraderie. This is a sense of brotherhood. This is a sense of growth having been planted. This is a sense of what is natural. This is a sense of development from the base, from the core, into a higher structure, right? But it's putting a sword in the hand of head and rationality. Being too grounded, too trusting in, being too codependent. Like, this is such a beautiful card. Codependency isn't something innately negative. The flowers need the earth to grow. They need the butterflies to bring their pollinate, you know, their seeds and stuff like that to help pollinate them in order for them to grow. You know, there's stars out here, but it's pretty much like there needs to be light. There needs to be good air. There needs to be all of these different qualities. In balance in order to grow. So it's not that that codependency is innately negative, but that there's a certain codependency that cuts into the head and rationality. And see, like, maybe this is just because I'm still in the mindset that I'm in, but this could be trying to teach me that, like, you know, let go of some of the, it's not saying let go though, it's talking about receiving. This is also the receiving hand, but this is also the receiving hand, and this is also the receiving hand. And what the head and rationality are receiving from codependency is a knife in the fucking palm. We're like on this side of the card, that's near this side of the card, that's near this one, you have trees growing, you have the sun. Over here you have death. This is Saturn and this mysticism. You know, it's coming from this card. So death is already in this card. The moon is in this card. The moon is in both of them. So death is in the head rationality card, in the rationality card. And the concerns is coming from this side, coming from the head and rationality. Because there isn't death in this card. This is a positive card. It's almost like this could be a bit of PTSD because of the flowers that are growing out of the cut open skull. The trees are growing out of this, and the growth is growing out of this, and it's growing towards the earth. But the earth is the one stabbing the hand. So there's this codependency that just, I mean, it's stabbing it, and like this looks like this could be, you know, pain in general depicted here. But it's also like a sun. I can't believe this has already been over an hour. Head, harmony. Wild. I haven't gotten a head card, and now I have two of them out here. This one came out in the middle. So it's like finding a balance between these things. Receiving these concerns creates harmony. Because what I'm noticing too is that you can't necessarily see the nails in this card or in this card, but you can see nails in these two cards, and they're both pink nails. They're also both pink skies, where these are both blue skies. Okay, so harmony comes from embracing these concerns. You know, trusting oneself. But it also comes from receiving these concerns. Like, are we talking just... Can you give me something definitively positive? A yes or no? A yes or no. Should... Okay, let me ask this question better. Should rationality trust that these concerns of codependency are valid? Yes. Or should head rationality receive the concerns the codependency has about rejecting it in order to have harmony? Should rationality receive concerns? Yes. Or harmony? No. If it's harmony that it should receive, give me a no. If it's concerns that it should receive, give me a yes. You can't have two cards fall out. This one fell out on its side, this one fell out face out. The monkey in the upright. And I'm just noticing that he has a crown. And the mystic cross on its side. The way they fell out is that I have the monkey over here. I have the mystic cross over here. This time, the hand is the right hand. It's trusting your intuition. As the pendulum swings over rationality. Then you have the monkey, the king monkey, is pointed in this direction. But I'm noticing that he has dirt in his hand. He has like shit in his hand. You know how they talk about monkeys throwing shit? I can't think of what the phrase is, but there's a phrase of that. And he looks very devious, right? Monkeys, they're always playing around. Can I have one more card about the monkey? One more card about the monkey. That is 3 more cards. I need 1 more card. I'll take it out of one of these 3. Heart in the reverse. It says trust your intuition. Okay. That gives me an answer enough. I'm going to have to read those ones. I mean, that helped. That gave me something more definitive, ultimately. So I'm just going to keep trusting the way that I have been. And moving the way that I have been. There's something that's about to give. And it's just to, you know, do... Something is about to give. Time. If the mountains should tumble to the sea, I won't be afraid. Just stand by me. One thing I'm noticing is that it almost looks like these are scars and stitches in the thumb that's receiving. even if it's the left hand. And so it's like healing. Receive healing. In time, these things are going to make sense and fall into place. Anything else? Anything else for little old me? Is there something I should be looking forward to or doing specifically at this time? What should I be doing specifically at this time? Mercury in the reverse. I've seen Mercury before, but I'm going to look it up. It's in the reverse. It's the god of financial gain, commerce, eloquence, messages, communication, travelers, boundaries, luck, trickery, and thieves. In the reverse. So I'm supposed to be like trusting that these things are, those are actually the concerns that I've had. And it's coming out in the reverse. Another common name for Mercury is Quicksilver. Just like be patient and wait. Okay, but what should I be patient and wait? Continue focusing on what should I continue focusing on? These are the things I'm waiting on. Waiting on your financial abundance, waiting on a certain communication about your financial abundance regarding a trickery about your financial abundance, right? They're trying to trick you. Don't trust it. Just wait on the universe because these things are coming to light in time. Focus on your healing. Destiny. Focus on your destiny. We got a 4-leaf clover. We got a little luck on our side. We got double luck, really. That makes me excited. Okay. 4-leaf clover. Just keep focusing on your destiny. Just keep doing the thing. 2 last cards. Apollo in the Milky Way. Beautiful. Really beautiful. Yep, yep. Really pretty cards. Look at the grander picture. Move with confidence. Move with grace. I want to know just a little bit more about Apollo, and then this video will be done. Come on. Oh, come on. I gotta pee. I'm always having to pee in the middle of my readings. Why would you do that? It's not an Acura 80X SUV in 2025. Has nothing to do with what I clicked on. I don't know why that came up. It's a Greek Roman god, a type of asteroid, a U.S. spacecraft, and a term for conjunctivitis. The Greek Roman god of sunlight, prophecy, music, and poetry. Any of a class of asteroids having an orbit that extends from inside to beyond the Earth's orbit. And we're talking about the Milky Way. Music, poetry. Okay, I'll take it. I got it. Destiny. There's something coming in time. It's a coming. I know it's a coming. That's why I'm not letting things get to me, because I know it. I already know it. The universe already told me, and I trust that. I trust the universe. I get that sometimes I'm a dumbass, but I can trust the universe. That's why I also say in a song, don't listen to me. Listen to the you through me. Listen to yourself. Hear yourself. See me just as a mirror. You don't have to trust me. You trust yourself. And then anything that I say, you can find yourself through. You can take it or leave it as you choose to. But now I feel good and I feel excited and I'm feeling these energies of things coming together. And just keep doing what I'm doing. Ugh. Okay, I gotta pee. All right, have fun. I'll see you soon.